All right, what is going on, guys? So I want to make this video to help give some guidance or some recommendations on what you should look for when purchasing your first laptop or upgrading from a laptop you've been stuck with since high school or college. Now, watching a bunch of tech videos online may make the decision harder than what it needs to be with a whole bunch of technical jargon. So I'll go over common things that you may not have thought of before and should make your purchase decision easier. So let's begin. So first thing before purchasing a laptop or anything in general is establish a budget and stick to it. Without a budget, you'll be searching and keep saying you want X, Y, and Z, and you'll end up buying something you don't need, or you'll just stretch yourself thin. So budget how much you can afford and search from there. The reality is, depending on your budget, you're going to have to make some type of compromise. But generally speaking, most laptops nowadays at the $600 plus range are leaps and bounds better than what came out like 2-3 years ago, even last year. So moving on, this question right here might make your purchase decision easier or harder. And it's whether you want macOS or Windows. And the red one you see right here is the MacBook. So for the one person who is screaming Linux in the far back, you can go ahead and run that shutdown command in terminal. Now, Windows isn't better than macOS, and macOS isn't necessarily better than Windows. They're both capable platforms that essentially do the same thing. I use both daily and I have no preference whatsoever, and neither should you. So here's what I'll say to make things easier. If you don't care about gaming, you want S-Class customer support, and you own other Apple products, I'd recommend getting the MacBook. Now, if you do any sort of gaming or you have applications that only run on Windows, then you should get a Windows laptop. It's that simple. If you decide you want Windows, continue watching because Apple makes it easy. The Air is the best value for your money at the moment. And I don't recommend buying used MacBooks, at least as of now, because the M1 processor is just so good and you get to avoid all the butterfly switches that came out from previous generations. So if you're a Windows user, let's continue watching. Or continue watching, not let's, because I'm the one anyway. Next is going to be something you probably didn't think about, but it's size. Now, common sizes are 13, 14, 15, and 17. 13 and 14, you're pretty much splitting hairs, but 14-inch I found to be the sweet spot for portability and productivity, and it seems that's the way the industry is going from here on. So once you reach the 15-inch and above, that's when you still have a degree of portability since it's still a laptop, but it's usually heavier, louder, most likely comes with a numpad, which shifts the keyboard to the left. And just for me, it loses its appeal of being a laptop and portable once you reach that 15-inch size. Sorry, I can't talk today. So during high school and college, I had a 15.6-inch laptop, and after about 2 years, I just hated carrying and using the laptop. And I didn't care how great of a laptop it was in terms of the specs. The size itself was just a huge turnoff. Now, I will mention that laptops that are 15-inch and above with a price tag of $1,500 means that it's going to be a pretty powerful machine. If you see a 15-inch laptop and above around like the $500 price tag, I'd recommend staying away from those just because I found that the manufacturer uses really bad material in order to make up the product. So usually the display is really bad and it's just an overall cheap feeling machine. So once you decide on the size, let's move on to the display. So I'll try to make this as simple as possible in 3 categories: resolution, hertz, and brightness. Now, no matter what screen size you get, at the bare minimum, you should get 1920 by 1080. Anything higher is amazing. Anything lower for personal use, and the company should be put out of business in 2021. Now, most laptops are equipped with 60 hertz, and that should once again be a minimum. So I don't think most people are going to find a laptop with less than 60 hertz. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. But once again, anything higher is amazing. Having 120 hertz doesn't make you more productive in the long run. It just looks good. And a person telling you that you need a higher refresh rate to be more productive is just a straight up liar. Now, let's talk about brightness. If you intend to work outside or primarily work in the day, like I'm getting a tan right now, You should aim for at a minimum 400 nits. Anything higher is great. Now, you may be asking yourself, or some tech enthusiasts may be asking why I'm not going into more detail. This is just the minimums or the baseline that people should be looking for. If you're purchasing a laptop and you see anything lower than what I recommended, it's not worth your money. Unless this is for your child who doesn't listen to you. This could be punishment for them. Now, the reality is that the average person goes up to a laptop and says one of two things. Either the screen looks great or the screen sucks. They don't open up system information and start deciphering through all the specs. So I found that 1080, 60 Hertz, and 400 nits are great baselines. Now, another feature you might not have thought about is having a backlit keyboard. Now, this isn't something you realize until you start doing work at night with the keyboard that doesn't light up. Now, during high school and the majority of my college years, I had a laptop with no backlighting, and it made studying and doing homework 10 times worse. If you noticed, I really hated my laptop growing up, and this is probably why I had like a 2.5 GPA in college, but that's besides the point. I hated doing homework in general, and it just annoyed me even further that I couldn't see my keys or my function row, which pretty much made my function row non-existent, or I should say non-functional. It's something people don't notice because when you have it, it's just right there. It's something that you kind of just expect. But I'm telling you right now, get a keyboard with the capability to have the backlit keys, or the keys have backlighting. If it doesn't, I honestly wouldn't recommend it. Now, the caveat to this is if your budget doesn't allow for backlight for your keyboard, don't feel bad. Just purchase a lamp or something at night to work with, and it's better for your eyes in the long run anyway. So next up, let's talk about ports. And if you're a first-time buyer or looking to upgrade and it's been some time, ports is another big feature that might be confusing, but I'll simplify it once again, and some people might be upset from this answer. The industry itself is confused at USB in general, talking about USB-C, Thunderbolt 3, USB 4, Thunderbolt 4, USB 3.0, USB 3.1, USB 3.1 Gen 1, 2, X to the 6th power, but don't worry about USB-C for now. I'll get back to that in a second. Think about the other ports you may need. Do you want a dedicated headphone jack? Well, confine your choices to a headphone jack laptop. Do you need a dedicated HDMI port? Well, confine your choices to laptops that have an HDMI port. Do you want a dedicated micro SD card slot? Well, confine your choices to micro SD card slot laptops. You see where I'm going with this. Now, remember, everyone has different needs and wants from their devices. So let's go back to USB. So USB 2 isn't terrible, but I would avoid it if you can. If it's the only port on the laptop, please do not buy it. Companies should be put out of business in 2021. You should, at a minimum, get USB 3.0 or 3.1. Whether it's Gen 1, 2, 3, whatever, doesn't matter. It's a bonus the higher the generation is though. So USB 3 series is that rectangular port that 99% of people have grown up with, so it should be easy to spot. You should also, at a minimum, have a laptop with USB-C. Whether it's USB 4, Thunderbolt 3, 4, does matter to a certain degree, but most people will be okay with simply a USB-C port. If it can charge your laptop, that's a bonus, and also allows you to have your laptop be more portable with less of a bigger power adapter. So in terms of the port department, don't overcomplicate your criteria based on the videos you watch. Yes, Thunderbolt is amazing, but unless you're going to be utilizing that technology more than 50% of the time, it's kind of useless, like losing sleep over whether your laptop has Thunderbolt or not. I found Thunderbolt useful if you plan on docking your laptop at home. Now, one thing I want to mention about USB-C is that you have the ability to expand the ports if you want to. So if you wanted an HDMI, Ethernet, headphone jack, or micro SD card slot, you can just buy a USB-C hub, which is different from a Thunderbolt hub or dock. See where it gets confusing? So let's just keep it simple. So this is also another small recommendation that is also becoming more common, and it's biometric unlocking. Sounds fancy. So with smartphones coming with fingerprint sensors and facial recognition to unlock, having that same behavior or pattern when opening up your laptop is definitely another great benefit. But this is not a requirement or a minimum, but it's something that you should think about. So tapping on the power button or looking at your laptop to start your experience is underrated in my opinion, but certainly not an end-all be-all. Typing in your password will still be a thing and hasn't changed since the Windows 98 days. So 2 more things I want to talk about, and I'll have a separate video on this one specifically, but it's design and aesthetic. Do you want a more professional, sleek looking laptop, or do you want to become a pilot with your 2 personal jet engines with a sprinkle of RGB? I've come to learn that design and aesthetic is something that is very high on people's list because design is important and people want something that matches their lifestyle regardless of their specs. If you want a laptop that shows you're a gamer, well, you know what to look for. If you want a laptop that's more of a run-of-the-mill laptop looking like a traditional one, you know what to look for. So I find that silver and dark gray is one of the best in terms of sleekness if you're trying to go for a more professional use or professional showcase of your laptop. But gaming laptops as well are, well, gaming laptops. One thing I do want to mention for gaming laptops though is that with these new chips coming out in terms of the GPU and CPU becoming more efficient, we are able to get a more of a traditional notebook style laptop. So that's something you want to look for, or I should say take notice of if you're looking for a laptop that is capable of gaming. They're not all big bulky RGB laptops anymore. So the last recommendation or something that you should look out for is something that people don't really care about. I don't want to say they don't care about, but the older you get, the more you care about this part. And it's customer service. Now, this might be a surprise, but actually this isn't a surprise, but nobody likes customer service. And bad customer service can ruin how you feel about an entire brand despite how good their products are. Trust me on this one. So your product may be great, but people doing customer service are even greater because that's where you have that long-lasting relationship with the company. Now, this can be easy or hard, and I'll decipher this in 3 ways. Customer service number 1, you're a tech person and you can most likely service the laptop yourself, or you have a tech friend who can help you with your problems for free. So customer service is kind of irrelevant. 2, the retailer you buy it from and their customer service or warranty program that you purchase through them, even though I'm kind of against purchasing warranties because it's like a catch-22, but that's a topic for another day. Limited warranty is fine for me. And then number 3, the manufacturer's customer service. Now for Windows laptops, Microsoft has amazing customer service. I've heard other things about brands like Lenovo and HP having good customer service, but I can't personally speak on their behalf because I've never owned a device long-term from them. Apple is great, but it can be a hit or a miss sometimes. The people working at Apple, fantastic individuals, but not everything needs to be hundreds of dollars for a simple repair. Laptops, actually, let me segue into this part. Laptops at this point are all pretty much the same. The design and how the brand presents themselves is what separates them from one another. The components that they're using are generally the same. It's just how they wrap it up and present it to you. Are you more of a gamer, but you still want to retain some sleekness? Maybe pick up the ROG line. Do you want something that's more professional that deals with a lot about business or more business focused? Maybe pick up the Dell XPS or the MacBook. So those are my recommendations and things you should consider to help make your purchase decision easier. Once you have a good grasp on what you're looking for, then you can care about the Ryzen 3, 4, not 5. Then you can care about the Ryzen 3, 5, 7, and 9 and the Intel 3, 5, 7, and 9. But most people still to this day don't even know the difference. And honestly, if you're going to be like losing sleep over whether you have a Ryzen 5 or Ryzen 7, I mean, to each their own. But I would say, generally speaking, the current market right now has never been better. These laptops in front of me they may look identical to things that have come out within the last 2 years, but laptops right now are probably the best they've ever been, at least in my lifetime, even though I'm still pretty young. But hopefully you found this video informative. I appreciate every sub, like, and comment. And as always, guys, much love.